Welcome to Marker Board Videos. Today's video is on solving multi-step equations. Let's use an example. 5k minus 19 equals 5 minus 13k. And you want to solve for k. When solving multi-step equations, the first thing that I do is I like to draw a line right down the middle, right even with the equal sign. And that reminds me, whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. The other thing that I like to do is I like to circle my variable along with the number in front of it and the sign to remind myself that the sign stays with the number and that the last thing I'm going to do is try to separate those. So I have a negative 19 and positive 5. I'm going to move the 19 over to the right side of the equation by adding 19 to both sides of the equation. The negative 5k is simply brought down. Negative 19 plus 19 is 0. There's my equal sign. 5 plus 19 is 24. And my negative 13k is also brought down. And now I'm going to move my 13k from the right side of the equation to the left side of the equation. Because it's a negative 13, I'm going to make it a positive 13, and I'm going to add 13k to both sides of the equation. 13k minus 5k is 8k. There's my equal sign, 24. 13k plus minus 13k plus 13k is 0. I'm liking this equation. So in order to get rid of the 8, in order to get the k all by itself, I look at what's happening between the 8 and the k, and what's happening right here is multiplication. There's an invisible multiplication sign there. You can't see it, but it's there. So we're going to divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1, and we get k equals 3. And that's how you solve multi-step equations. Let's do another example just to make sure we fully understand that. Example number 2 is negative 15n plus 16 equals 86 minus 29n. And again, I draw my line right down where the equal sign is, so I remind myself whatever I do on one side, I do on the other side. And I like to circle my unknown. It helps if I have a marker that works. My unknown, the constant in front of it, and the sign. So I have plus 16 and plus 86. So I'm going to move the 16 over to the other side. Since that's a positive 16, to get rid of it, to move it to the other side, I subtract 16 from both sides of the equation. And I get negative 15n. 16 minus 16 is 0. I don't need to write that. 86 minus 16 is 70, minus 29n. So far so good. Now I want to move my 29 over and get all my n's on one side of the equation and all my constants on the other side. I'm going to add 29n to both sides. The reason that I add 29n to both sides is I look at this sign right here and it's negative or subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So 29 minus 15 is 14n equals 70. I think my signs look okay. Yep, they do. 14 and n are being multiplied, so the opposite of multiplication is division. Whatever I do to one side of the red line or one side of the equation, I do to the other. 14 divided by 14 is 1, and 70 divided by 14 is 5. So my answer is n equals 5.